listening to our online stream at arirang.com/radio. And if you would like to watch the visual radio, please check out our official YouTube channel, Arirang Radio K-Pop. Most importantly, we have an Instagram account at the archive_8F where we post highlight clips of our show. You can send us a direct message if you have a message you'd like read on air or any song request. Plus, we also have a link tree in our Instagram bio where you can find the Google Forms link for our weekly Wednesday segment, The Anonymous. Before we move on, I want to remind you of our weekend segments, everyone. On Saturday, we have the Word Chain, a fun listener game where we build a playlist using words from our Excel sheet linked in our Instagram bio. Our Monday's guest, Kaho, kicked things off with the first song, Yellow Light by Kaho, which you can check right now on our Instagram account at the archive_8F. On Sunday, we have the mood board coming up where listeners send in song requests and stories inspired by a keyword or image posted on our Instagram account using the link in our bio. The theme this week was home, and you guys are doing a fascinating job in sending in your messages. I just want to say thank you so very much already. The deadline for the word chain is at 6 p.m. every Thursday for this week, it is already closed, but stay tuned for next week. And the deadline for the mood board is at Friday, 6 p.m. every day. So get those submissions in before it is too late at our Instagram account at the archive_8F. Again, a big welcome to the second hour of our show today. We are officially going to launch a crazy show, a crazy segment that we have planned out for you. We don't know where this is going to go. We are quite nervous and anxious, and John is out there smiling at me because he's also anxious. But we're going to bring out some of the most interesting stories based on Korean history, Korean myth, legend, everything. So everyone, get ready for an incredible ride. But for now, let's enjoy this song together, coming from 우주소녀 비밀이야 Secret. Beneath the surface of Korea's vibrant cultures lies a world of hidden histories, unsolved mysteries, and stories that were never meant to be told. From eerie urban legends to forgotten events, we uncover the secrets that lurk in the shadows of the past. This is The Classified, where the truth is a stranger than fiction. To help us, of course, we have invited AJohn into the studio.
Good afternoon. Happy White Day, everybody.
Happy White Day indeed. By the way, brother, I love your sweater.
Right. So in the camera, it kind of comes out as red, but it's a bit orange.
It is a bit orange,
very
isn't
orange.
it?
It kind of fits well with the vibe. I like it because it makes me bigger and makes me look stronger than I am.
You do.
When I'm not really
do look
that big.
strong.
So just because it makes me look fluffy. So I do like it. So thank you.
And I have to ask you, man, are you dressed up for this beautiful white day? Are you seeing someone tonight?
So
Be honest with us. No lying. No lying here at the Classified.
Okay, so I am meeting a friend today.
Is it a he or she?
It is a she. It is a female friend. It is not a date. It is not a date. But it is after work, which means I have to go really quickly after work. Just letting you know.
Okay.
Just asking you to not give me work after we finish recording. But
we'll have to make some work for you then.
But yeah, so it is just a casual hangout.
Yes.
But the funny thing is, on White Day a long time ago, like during university, we had like a tradition with some of my friends that we would walk around and we used to buy a lot of lollipop, and on White Days and Valentine's Day, we would usually, give it out to people. Mostly girls, let's be honest, but it was a little fun thing because if you give someone a flower, it might be a little bit too uncomfortable.
Right.
So we used to give little lollipops at bars.
Oh, that's
and
cute.
also because I personally don't smoke, so like a lot of my friends who go outside and smoke, I can go outside and eat a lollipop, and it looks like I'm kind of getting involved, kind of.
Pro tip, guys. Pro tip.
Yes.
Socializing. I also think white days are very interesting because it feels like somebody made it. Because, in many cases, you kind of forget to gift your partner during Valentine's Day. And it gives a guy a second chance to make up.
Exactly. It's like the girls can do it first, and then we realize, we're a month late, and then we can start preparing for it.
Because guys tend to be much more clumsier when it comes to gifting and celebrating those days, I would say.
Right, but I have heard people say that it is a little bit at times unfair because if you're dating somebody who's more Western culture, then you have to give your partner on. If you're a guy, you have to give your partner on Valentine's Day because that's what in the West, that's what they celebrate. And then when White Day comes around, it's like if you don't do anything, then they could feel a bit sad, lonely. So you have to also take care of them on White Day as well. So you're taking care of them on both birthdays, essentially.
That is great.
So yeah, but I like it because I love giving people gifts,
Right. Double the
receiving
gifts, double the charm.
and also it's like back to back. And also on April, it's my birthday coming up. Just letting people know my birthday's
You
coming
did
up
not
in
have to
April.
let us know that.
So,
So much pressure on the other end.
Yes, pressure on
Just
you.
kidding, just kidding,
yes.
just
But
kidding.
also, it's like every month I get to celebrate something. So a very fun time.
That is incredible. Mochiana says, AJohn, fluffy and cute.
Oh, thank you.
Ooh, okay. And Lenny says, don't forget to bring chocolate for the lady that you're meeting later on.
Yes.
Even if you guys are friends, it's a sign of, a sign of thank you
nice.
for being a good friend.
Maybe a lollipop. Maybe go back
A
to the
lollipop
roots.
could
Yeah.
work. Also, we have Jun saying, hope AJohn is feeling much more relaxed now compared to his first day on Tuesday. How are you feeling today, by the way?
I'm very nervous because it's the first time we're doing classified, and people don't know this, but I am the worst singer, actor, and the worst just in many role playing as well. And we have a bit of role playing today,
We do.
so I'm a little bit nervous.
And I insisted that John put in some voice acting lines because, I had to see him acting because our listeners already know how terrible I am in acting because I've
Right.
already done it a long time ago. But this time, man, we're going to make so much fun of you.
But the funny thing is, I get to write the script, so
That's also true.
So I've purposefully made as little lines as I could,
Okay.
and as give all the roles, all the lines to you as much as possible.
I will need to kind of make the deadlines a bit earlier so I can look through it
I'll
and give you
say-
the most difficult lines.
I'll say if you're not happy with it, you can write the script. But I'm just saying, when I'm writing the script, I'll give some lines. I won't say I won't give myself any lines, but
Okay.
yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one today.
Definitely looking forward to it. John's done a fascinating job for preparing today's episode. So let's jump straight into it. What kind of eerie story do you have for us today at the Classified?
So yeah, so to give you guys a little bit of hints, this is a story. Some might even call it a myth or legend. About how the world came to be, specifically how
Ooh.
Korea came to be.
How Korea came to be.
Exactly.
Like the very beginning.
Right, the very beginning of human race in some sense, or Korean as a whole.
Okay.
And
So
also,
the world defined by Korea. let's say.
exactly. And also, there's going to be a lot of some specific type of food ingredient, I would say.
Ooh, food
and
and
a bit of a
ingredients.
few animals
Okay.
and God as well. So it's a bit of
Oh.
hints. I'm sure
mean,
some people already know.
Yeah, many of those ancient civilizations had their own ways of describing how the world came to be. For instance, Roman Empire was two wolves raising a baby, abandoned baby.
Oh,
was it?
really?
Something like that. Every culture has their own things. But Korea has a very interesting one too.
Right. So interestingly, in New Zealand, where I grew up, I love these legends and myths. And also because I grew up in New Zealand where I just was always surprised by the stories of Maori culture.
Maori, I love that culture.
There are so many interesting ones. I lived in Waikato, Hamilton, Waikato, and there's a very famous there's this famous dragon slash snake slash water monster lives
Oh.
in the river.
Okay.
It's called Tanifa, and yeah, this stuff like that I used to love. And this is the first story I actually learned when I came into Korea in 2017, and I thought this was extremely fascinating and bizarre, but hopefully a lot of our listeners will love it as well.
Well, brother, take it away. The reveal, please.
The story that we're gonna cover today is the legendary 환웅과 웅녀.
Ooh, Hwanung and Ungyo.
Yes.
That's what we are going to talk about today. The legend, the myth of Hwanung and Ungyo, marking the very beginning of Korea.
Yes. This
Alrighty.
for those people that do know this, this is a very popular story, Korean legend, with this story even being referenced in Korean dramas, webtoons, and video games. A lot of K-dramas such as Gumi Hojeon, Tale of the Nine-Tailed, which was in 2020, I believe, features a modern take on this Korean mythical creatures,
Wow.
as well as webtoon like Kosu, the Master. Also features character Ungyo, which was inspired by the bear that we're going to get into.
Ooh, the bear, of course. I'm telling you right now, heads up, a lot of animals in the story.
A lot of animals, and a lot of other food, I would say.
Oh, a lot of food too. And there's a game referencing this?
Yeah, so there's an MMORPG, so a mixed multiplayer online game, role-playing game called Lost Ark, which is a very popular game, references Hwanung's divine power in its lore.
Oh, I had no clue, man. That is so cool. Is the character's name Hwanung?
Not too sure about that, but it is a reference about it. And if you do a deep dive of the lore, it goes into quite a lot about its power that we're also going to get into about
Okay.
like nature, wind, and water and stuff like
I
that.
can't wait to jump straight into this
Yes.
story. But for now, let's set the tone with this incredible song coming from Channabi, 전설 Legend. And there it was, everybody setting the tone for today's classified corner, 전설 Legend by Channabi. For those of you joining us right now, we're going to be talking about the legend of Hwanung과 웅녀. And we'll begin by jumping straight into the story narration, John.
Yes.
Everybody listen carefully. I hope you guys grab your popcorns because it's going to be fun. A lot of
Yeah.
imaginations.
So let's begin. A long time ago, in the land that would one day be called Korea, there stood a sacred mountain known as Baekdusan. At its peak, among the clouds, ruled Hwanung, the son of the heavenly emperor Hwanin. Hwanung had long looked down upon the earth with great compassion, yearning to guide its people and teach them wisdom. One day, Hwanung pleaded with his father Hwanin.
Father, let me descend to the world below. The people wander lost, not knowing the way of virtue. If I may, I wish to lead them to enlightenment.
Hwanin, seeing his son's sincere heart, granted him permission. He sent him down with 3,000 heavenly followers, gifting him the powers of wind, rain, and clouds to rule with justice. So Hwanung descended to Shinsa, the city of gods, a place of peace and prosperity. There he taught the people the ways of agriculture, medicine, law, and mortality.
Ooh, that is so very cool. And this is the first time listening to your voice that deep, brother.
Right?
Yes, and so right now we have two characters, Hwanin, the heavenly emperor, and Hwanung, who is the son.
Right.
And he's convincing his father, saying, I want to go, descend to the world below, and teach people who seem to be so lost,
Right.
not knowing the ways of virtue.
Yeah, and then the father let him go down with the 3,000 heavenly followers. Which is a lot of followers.
With the powers of wind, rain, and clouds to rule with justice.
And before the song, we talked about how this character was also, Hwanung was also a part of a MMORPG. And in the lore, they referenced the wind, the rain, the clouds a lot.
Oh, really?
So these weather kind of like, powers, they referenced it a lot. And if you think about it, Baekdusan, this cloud that they came down on Baekdusan, and Baekdusan Baekdusan Mountain is a very popular, and it's a very sacred place for a lot of Koreans, right?
Right.
And many Koreans view Baekdusan Mountain as the spiritual birthplace of their nation. And fun fact, the crater lake at the top, Cheonji, is one of the deepest volcanic lakes in the world.
That is an incredible fact, isn't it?
Right.
And quite scary at the same time.
It is.
One of the deepest volcanic lakes in the world. For many of the Koreans, people dream of visiting Baekdusan Cheonji because it is told that when you go up there, you can't go directly from Korea, obviously. But if you make a detour and go up there, there's a really low chance of seeing the lake clearly because the weather conditions are so bad.
Right.
So apparently, like 1/3 of the years, you'll be able to actually have a clear view of Baekdusan Cheonji, the lake. I don't think I know anyone who's actually been there.
I don't think I know anybody as well, but I know it's like a must-to-go place for a lot of people in Korea. It's like they dream of going to it. But
Exactly. And there were so many pictures, and many of the reality shows and variety shows also visit this place.
Right.
And that's how symbolic Baekdusan Cheonji is, Baekdusan Mountain itself is for the Korean people. And if you check out the images, it already looks so sacred.
Right.
It's got that beautiful, it's on the top of the mountain, but there's a lake.
Right.
A huge lake.
Exactly.
And there are mythologies where people say they witnessed a monster living in the lake and stuff like that.
There's a lot of legends and myths around Baekdusan Mountain. which I think is fascinating. It just shows how important this is to a lot of Koreans.
Exactly. It is so very important that one legendary band in Korea also took on the name of Baekdusan, a crazy heavy rock metal band, and I had to play this out for you. During the song, I'm going to do some research to show you some pictures of Mount Baekdu and the lake, so everybody make sure to tune in using the YouTube live chat live stream at this very moment. Here we go, 주연 배우, main character by Baekdusan, the band. And there was the legendary track by a legendary band, 백두산 주연배우, main character. And as we were playing out this song, I gave you a view of how 백두산 Mountain looks like. It looks like this. 백두산
So
천지.
pretty.
It's unreal, isn't it?
Right.
It's unreal. Look at how blue this picture is. It's beautiful, I have to say.
Exactly.
And in such beautiful places are born crazy cool myth and
Right.
legends, and that's what we were diving deep into today, right?
Exactly. So let's get into the part 2.
Part 2, everybody, continuing on with the story of 환웅과 웅녀. The narration goes like this.
One day, a bear, Wung, and a tiger, Ho, who heard about Hwanung's great wisdom, came to him, praying and begging him to turn them into humans.
So I have to be the bear and the tiger?
Yes.
Oh, great, Hwanung. We wish to walk as humans. Please grant us this wish.
Hwanung, hearing their sincerity, decided to test them. He gave them an impossible challenge.
Is it me again?
Yes.
So Hwanung goes like this. If you can remain inside this cave patiently, eating only mugwort, suk, and garlic manner, you shall become human.
The bear and the tiger agreed and began their trial. One day after another, both the tiger and the bear grew tired and frustrated. However, the tiger, wild and impatient, could not endure the difficult task. It left the cave before the trial was complete. The bear, however, endured the hunger and darkness with patience and determination.
Oh.
Yes.
All right, so this is part 2, everybody. All right, so you were telling us right now that there is a tiger and a bear begging who?
They were begging Hwanung to
Mhm.
become humans.
So they want to become humans.
Right.
And Hwanung in return says, you gotta survive?
You gotta survive in a cave, only eating mugwort, which is suk, and garlic.
Suk and garlic. So to give you some information about the food itself, I've never heard of the term mugwort
Right.
in my life. But tell us a little bit about the food itself.
So suk and garlic is a very popular dish, but this is suk, which is mugwort, which definitely sounds interesting, I'll say.
It does sound interesting. And of course, 마늘.
Yes, garlic.
Garlic.
And garlic is obviously a food that a lot of Koreans love, right? Garlic was believed to have purifying properties, keeping away evil spirits and diseases. And mugwort was used for healing and longevity even today. And it's a popular ingredient in Korean skincare and tea. So they're both known to be very healthy food. And if you really think about it, it was interesting because I read an article that was released at the end of last year, December of last year, that stated that the Ministry of Agriculture stated in 2023, the average Korean ate about 6.3 kilograms of garlic, making Korea the second biggest garlic consumer in the world. So them eating garlic in the cave is kind of, I see how, Koreans tend to be.
I have to bring up this picture. Look at them eating garlic and mugwort. They're crying. And as he mentioned in the story, the tiger couldn't bear it.
Right.
Tiger leaves saying, 사람 되는 게 이렇게 힘들다니 난 그만두겠어. It's so difficult to become a human. I am gonna give up, and runs out of the cave.
Right, but the interesting thing is, have you ever thought about why it's a bear and a tiger?
No, not really.
Right, so I did a bit of digging because I was like, why is it a bear and a tiger? There are a lot of other animals. Why them? But interestingly, the bear and the tiger actually represents two distinctive personalities and traits amongst humans. So the bear is someone who is patient, calm and disciplined, which is why she succeeded in the test. And the tiger kind of represents someone who's more impulsive, aggressive, and restless, which causes him to fail or her to fail. And some scholars even believe that the bear symbolizes earlier agricultural societies, which is kind of seen amongst Korea, while the tiger represents more of a nomadic hunter group's restless life. I'm kind of seeing maybe like a Mongolian culture back in the days of them being a lot of hunters.
I see.
Right, while Korea is more, historically we're more agricultural based society.
So very true if you think about it, huh?
Exactly. And there was even someone going as far as to say, what if the tiger succeeded?
Oh, what if?
What if tiger succeeded as well?
What would have happened?
Exactly. And then the Korea would be very different. And some would even say, some fans even theorize that it could be like a tiger kingdom, which is more of a warrior-like society, might have endured instead of a peaceful agriculture-based 고조선. Something that if the tiger did manage to survive, it would be more similar to how Mongolian culture could have been.
I mean, if you think about it, I think there is also the tiger aspect in the Korean blood, because if you go back to like 고구려, like the warriors, they were so powerful. I mean, but like this whole comparison between tiger and a bear shows how it really deals with two different human contrasting tendencies. I'm assuming that patience versus being like cold-hearted and like something very impatient.
Right, needs something right away, kind of restless, kind of hustling, which is kind of in a fun way, kind of how Korea kind of came to be with the Bali culture in one sense.
Oh, true.
But yeah, it does talk about these two different animals and their kind of, how we portray these animals as well.
Our listener Jun says, "Boo to the tiger. Why so impatient?"
Very true.
That is true. But if you think about it, mugwort suk and
these, they can't, it's all dark, it's pitch black. How long could you stay in a cave just only eating vegetables? And I think, it would have been a hard challenge. And I don't know, for me, I sympathize, I empathize with the tiger because I don't know if I could have lasted very long as well.
I mean, this is talking about only mugwort and garlic, only, nothing else.
Exactly.
And if you're a tiger, you're a carnivore. I mean, I'm very happy the tiger didn't eat the bear.
Right. Whoa, okay.
If you think about it.
That's very, very true.
I don't know which side is stronger, to be honest. We've never really had a proper comparison between the bear and the tiger.
Very true.
Either one could have just gone crazy.
Exactly. Very much so, now I think about it. So maybe it was best for both of them that the tiger left. Maybe he was doing one for the team.
Oh, I guess
sacrificing himself for the team. Maybe
they had a deal.
Right.
But let's get back to the story. They did not, right? In this case, it was a test that was given by Hwanung, the son of the emperor, the heavenly emperor, for them to become humans.
Right.
And I'm assuming this whole cave was probably based in Baekdusan Mountain. Right. And Tiger just came out running out saying, "I can't do this anymore," and I had to play out this song to kind of boost up that creativity, imaginations in your brains. Coming from 이날치, here goes. 범 내려온다, tiger is coming. 내려온다 by 이날치, an experimental band. Crazy song, isn't it?
This was so popular when it came out, right?
And the charm is blending 판소리 with pop band music.
It was.
And that itself just blew the town away.
I listened to it so much, and I think it was just so popular. There wasn't a lot of other ads and commercials. It took the wave, and I think it's still very, very, very good.
Oh, that is incredible. And I'll be honest with you guys, during the song, somebody came by our studio knocking on it, and that was SJ. He was telling me to go check out your DM right now. And I thought there was something very emergent happening. We're like, are we kind of...
Are we in trouble?
Are we in trouble? What's happening?
Did you say something?
He DM'd me saying, I don't have your number, Yohan. Don't eat Kit Kats only. I bought a bagel for you in the break room. Go eat it afterwards. Oh,
so sweet.
Props to SJ Young. Thank you so very much, guys. Make sure to send your love and support to the Culture and Incredible show starting at 6 p.m. right after the show.
Yes.
But this is not the ending of the archive today.
No, we have another part. We're part 3. We have not come to the end of the story, so
we haven't.
We're very close nearby, but we have a little bit left.
So ready for this, everyone. Now, jumping into part 3 of the story of Hwanung and Ungyo.
Yes.
Here it goes, everyone. Set the tone for us.
A dimly lit cave with the scent of mugwort and garlic in the air. The bear sits in silence, eyes closed, enduring the test. After 21 days, Hanu appears before her, glowing with divine light.
Glowing with divine light. Here it goes, everyone. Hwanung says, you have endured the trial with patience. Tell me, why do you wish to become a human?
Oh, great one, I wish to walk under the sun, to feel the wind under upon my skin, and to speak as you do. I do not wish to live in darkness any longer.
Your patience has proven your worth. Rise, Unyo, as a human woman.
A golden light surrounds the bear as she transforms, her fur fading into soft human skin. She stands, tears in her eyes, now truly human.
Your journey does not end here. Go forth and seek your destiny.
Although she became human, Unyo was lonely. She prayed for a child, and Hwanung, moved by her sincerity, took her as his wife.
Wow.
Together, they had a son named Tanguwangom, who later founded Gojoseon in 2333 BC, marking the beginning of Korean civilization.
Whoa.
Thus, from the divine love of Hwanung and the patience of Unyo, Korea's first civilization was born.
Oh my goodness. So, this is it, everyone. This is a moment where the bear,
Yes.
turns into a human.
Right.
A woman. I mean, I love the description here. Hwanung appears before her glowing with divine light.
I am so hot at the moment.
Are you
I had
blushing like
one-
crazy, aren't
I
you?
had one line of acting.
But the listeners are loving it.
I'm so sweaty under the sweater.
Lenny say AJohn's voice is so cute. Bredor says AJohn blushing is so cute.
I'm glad we're dimly lit because I'm so red. I'm so hot.
So guys, this is it. The bear who was able to persist for 21 days, eating
Right.
only suk and maner, garlic and mugwort, was granted the wish to become a human.
Right. So I love the story, right? It talks about patience. And also, it's not just the fact that, that he just transformed her into a woman and then it's like, okay, bye. But even until the end, she was lonely. So he, helped her, bear a child. And that is how the civilization came to be in 2333 BC. Very specific.
Exactly. And later on, the fun fact is this woman, the bear who became woman, gives birth to
A child.
Tangun.
Yeah.
And Tangun is like the founding father of Gojoseon, again in 2333 BC, right? Marking the very beginning of the Korean civilization. And that's where all this legend leads to, making this Korean civilization the way it is today.
Exactly. And if you think about it, till this day, we celebrate this with a day called Gaecheonjeol, right? Gaecheonjeol, which is the National Foundation Day every year on October 3rd. And it marks, how Gojoseon came to be. That's basically start of Korean first civilization.
Exactly. And this story is a legend that are pretty much known to everyone, of course, right?
Right.
The Koreans, because you learn it in school. But in our case, being raised abroad, me in Canada and John in New Zealand,
Right.
do you remember the first time you learned about this story?
I actually learned this in university.
In university?
2017. So I lived my whole life, my elementary, middle school, and high school in English, or in New Zealand, it was called primary school, intermediate, and high school. I lived there my whole life, so I didn't really hear a lot of these stories until I came to Korea, and I basically learned to read and write in Korean when I came to university.
Okay.
And that's when I learned about the Korean history, and that's when I first heard about the story, and I was like blown away that Korea also has these kind of myth and legends, similar to how, me growing up in New Zealand, how Maori culture has a lot of these stories as well.
Right, exactly. Same for me. I used to go to a 한글학교 Korean school back in
Right.
Canada every Saturday because my parents were like, you got to learn how to write and read read and speak Korean.
Mm,
And I think I was placed in this like intro to Korean history class,
right?
which I hated going to, but I think that's where I learned it.
Mm.
And I'm very happy I did because without knowing the foundations, at least, I mean, even though it's a myth and legend,
Right.
I mean, this really kind of connects you to the Korean culture itself.
Right,
And I
it
feel very
does.
much connected to it.
It does. And I love the story because it talks about, patience.
Hmm.
And I don't know why, a lot of people see themselves in the story, whether you see yourself as the Hwanung, the one who is, blessing this bear, or you see yourself as the patient bear who can persist to hustle until the end, or you see yourself as the tiger who's like, who really wanted something, who really wanted to be a human, but just couldn't because they were too impatient.
Mm,
Because it is hard, and a lot of people see themselves in the story, and I think it's great. I remember first reading this and being like, there's a lot of garlic, like
it really is
there's
a lot of
garlic.
I mean, when you were reading the part during the narration, you're like a dimly lit cave with a scent of mugwort and garlic in the air. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, so that sounds. Imagine if you're Hwanung and you come down, you're like, you came into this cave, and then you get this whiff. So I don't know if I'd want to be in that cave any longer.
Exactly. I'm assuming that's why he brought her out. Like granted the wish and happy ending.
I would have
Right?
been like, if I was Hwanung, I would be like, hey, can you meet me outside? Actually, like you can come out now. Like I'm gonna transform you into a woman anyways. But yeah, I thought because a lot of so we did a bit of researching into this because
Mm.
I think a lot of people think that Unya stayed in the cave for 100 days.
Some people
Because
say
in
that.
Korean it says 100년,
Right.
백일,
Pegil.
백일, right? Which is not the case.
Right. So apparently the character that they used for peg itself, it meant like the day that the god has set, rather than the number 100.
Right.
So it was Hwanung telling telling the bear and the tiger to just be there in the cave until I tell you to.
Yeah, so it didn't have a specific date, a
Date.
number.
Mm.
But because it didn't, the tiger wasn't sure if it was going to be
Exactly.
100, 200. There was a
Exactly.
theory that you told me that if the tiger knew that it was 21 days, he would have just stayed until
Exactly, right?
then. But because the tiger wasn't sure when this would end, that he just got impatient.
And I thought this has a correlation to K-pop artists too. When you first get into an agency to start training to become a K-pop idol, there is no set debut date.
Right.
They will tell you you'll be debuting once you're ready. It's just
You don't know when that is.
exactly,
Or if
and
that is.
you just have to keep your hopes high and keep on going. And that's why many trainees they train for like 8 years, 9 years. Even for me, I trained for 4 years, not knowing when I'm gonna debut.
That's a long time, right?
Exactly, but that patience proves how much of a diligent person you are and how much of your qualities actually do qualify for that position.
Exactly. And I think if they give you a set date, it's a little bit easier because you can see the time decreasing. You can set a date. I remember when I was in the army, a lot of the guys probably did this. You counted the amount of days until you're like about to leave. If you ask any military guy right now, they know by date when they're going to leave.
There's even an application for that.
Exactly. And we check it every day, hoping that it's going to change. It doesn't. But, we change it every hour. But it's the thing that if you set a date, it's a lot easier. But, thinking about it, they didn't, Hwanung didn't give them a set date, which is why it was probably more harder and more probably, mental fight for the
Right,
tiger
for the
and the bear.
tiger. But if you would summarize the story for us, John, in one full, I don't know, paragraph,
Right.
would it be possible?
So
here it goes, everyone. The
quick
rap.
TLDR, if you guys didn't listen to the start of the story. So Hwanung asked his father if he can go to Earth. With 3,000 followers, he goes down and works. Bear and Tiger wants to be human, so they go up to him and plead. And Hwanung gives him a challenge to eat garlic and mugwort for a set amount of time in living in a cave. The tiger doesn't make it, but the bear does. Hwanung transforms her into a beautiful woman. However, she is lonely, so Hwanung takes her as a wife and has a child, 당구왕검, who later founded 고조선 in 2303 BC, marking the beginning of the Korean civilization.
Yes, so that was, in a nutshell, kind of summary of what we have covered today, paired up with our hopefully beautiful voice acting.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I would really love? To have some reverb in the station.
Ooh, yes.
If we can really bring in the
Switch
reverb
in on and off for reverb.
Exactly. Maybe we should ask the engineering team.
That would make it so much better.
But again, everyone, that is a wrap for today's first episode of The Classified, our Friday's regular second hour corner. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yana says, if my history class was with Professor AJohn and Yohan, I would have aced this.
But would your ears be good? Because having to hear my acting skills, I feel sorry for you guys, I'll be honest.
I think they were woken up by your voice acting skills.
I think you were shocked by my...
I was. But again, everyone, that is the end of today's The Archive episode. But before anything, I want to let you know of our weekend special. Tomorrow, we have the Word Chain game coming up, a fun listener game where we build a playlist based on words shared in our Instagram bio link. And on Sunday, we have the mood board coming up where your song requests and stories come to life, inspired by a keyword or image from our Instagram post. Stay tuned for an exciting weekend lineup. And we are going to let you off with one last final song. This is Hello, 안녕하세요 by B.I.G. It is Friday evening.
Yes.
And a white day. Perfect time to go out on a date.
Yes.
I believe John already has set one for himself.
Yes. It's a hangout because I know my parents are listening, so I'm just meeting a friend because I know my parents are listening. But yes, I'm gonna have a fun time.
Alrighty, well, I hope you guys all have a lovely, lovely evening. This is Yohan Lee and AJohn checking out. Bye-bye.
Bye.